Hey guys, a Knife Tale here, bringing you a knife summary of this Kansept Reverie. This is a knife that I've done a review on. I will link the review down below. This is a Justin Lundquist design in S35VN. No, I don't like the fact that it says Justin Lundquist, under the JL, I says Lundquist, and it says Reverie, and it says the code of this knife. Why does it say all that? I don't know, but it does. Don't like it. Just S35VN and the Lundquist logo would be perfectly adequate. Kansept logo, though, I will give them credit. Let's give them credit. It's not on the primary bevel. It's on the flat, so that always makes things look better. Let's be honest. I don't like seeing things on the flat. This is a pretty small, very gentlemanly front flipper. I guess we'll call that a front flipper. It's a top flipper, I guess. Back here. It's pretty small. It's compact, but it's not bad. It's very comfortable. You've only got about I'm gonna say that's about 3 inches of blade, if I remember correctly. That's under 3 inches of blade. I do not remember correctly. It's 2 7/8 of blade, which is kind of smaller than I normally like to go. But I got to admit, I can get a full grip on this thing. It's comfortable in hand. It serves its purpose, especially if you want to just carry it as a gentleman's knife. It has sort of a, it definitely has a traditional, little bit of a traditional look, but it definitely looks like a modernized, sleek, updated overall knife. Got your clip point here. S35 yen, as I said. Nice stonewash. Kansept does a nice stonewash. It's a reasonably reflective, but at the same time, there's like a little bit of a smokiness to it. I don't know if it'll come over perfectly, but it's quite. I do like their stonewash. This one has a crown spine and jimping on the crown spine. I will say that the one thing I don't like is that they crown the top flipper. I've never been a fan, and I said it in the review, and I said it in reviews of, I think, one other knife. You don't crown front flipper jimping. Because what it does is, as you can see, it creates an apex. Even though it's rounded and there is an apex, you're making contact with your thumb at the top of that rounding first. As you can kind of see, my thumb or finger makes contact right at that top before it comes into contact with everything else. And when you have that thin area where it's coming in contact with that way, and then you have the thin jimps, it tends to make them a bit uncomfortable. It can also make them a little bit slippery. This one's not too bad, especially for like the just the reach around. This is probably one of the best ways to do that. This knife, just pop it like that, but or like that. But the whole top kind of like that's not comfortable. that actually just ripped up some skin. My thumb is recovering, and I keep doing damage to it. But while they work, it tends to just, in my experience, make them a little bit worse than they have to be. The placement on this one is what saves it, and the ability to do that reach around super easy is kind of what gets me for the pass on this one, because it's just okay. I have had one where it was just a standard front flipper, and it's kind of uncomfortable when it's crowned. So that's a FYI kind of forewarning thing for anybody who's looking at different knives with those kinds of features. You want to pay attention to those things, right? I will give it credit where it's due. It has an internal stop pin. Love seeing that. So the plunge grind, which is not great. It basically hits the edge. Can be easily cut into for more sharpening joy. It's not the thinnest behind the edge, and it does taper to be a little bit thick to get a little bit more meat out at the spine. But it's definitely slicey. It's pretty thin. It's good. It cuts reasonably well. This one definitely, actually, I think needs a new edge on it. It'll be my first edge on it, honestly. The jimping up here, also, because it's crowned like that. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Crowned. You get the feeling of some traction, But again, you're primarily contacting that one line along the top at the apex, and so I find myself slipping forward on it, but it's still a little bit uncomfortable. It's not my favorite thing in the world. Titanium bolsters, kind of, end frame. Titanium pocket clip. This one has G10 scales. There were a number of these, carbon fiber and different things like that. There were also... This is the more premium version of this knife. I'm pretty positive this has been discontinued, so I don't think I can link this. There is a budget variant of this knife with full G10 or full micarta scales, I believe. Probably, if you still like the look of it, yeah, that's probably your better bet. It's cheaper, it's fine. I don't love the budget-looking version of these, I'll be honest with you. They just don't do it for me. See? Slipped right off that. Gotta be a little more deliberate. But it is a light, functional knife. Kind of a little bit too much flat on the end there, but functional pocket clip, you kind of feel it a little bit if you really like grip down onto it. But most of the time, you're just going to be holding this knife like this or like this. Let's be honest, this is a pretty light-duty knife, and it definitely serves the purpose. The lock bar is, despite not looking super cut back, honestly, it doesn't look like it's all that cut back at all, except for that little tiny bit of jimping. It's super easy to access. You got more than enough room. Both sides are bowled out deeply. More than enough. You do come a little bit from, not perfectly from the side, but it's really easy. And I like the way they did the lock bar cutout. The one thing I don't like is the way they finished this point on the G10 or any material that would be there. Because it's super thin, it is a little bit pokey. Like, this is a little bit harder edge than it needs to be too, especially considering this one's so rounded off. You don't notice it unless you're really like moving around on the knife, in which case, like, I just moved up, I can feel it, I just felt that when I moved back. Most of the time, you're not going to feel it. I do wish they had addressed that a little bit differently. But it does give the whole aesthetic a bit of a function, so... Or the function is tuned to the aesthetic, is what I'm trying to say. This one is not perfectly centered. It's not bad. It's a little bit off to the side. I think it's mostly the grind. The blade itself looks centered. Kansept does a decent job, and this wasn't horrifically expensive. Like, it's a mid-tier knife, but it was under $200 when they were around. It's very smooth, I'll give them that. That is... It's a shake shop, but it is super smooth. It's a good little knife for light-duty stuff that has just enough personality to make it interesting and make it stand out against just, say, what you usually get in that, like, sub-$200 range of either you're getting something that has little extra to it and is just... The whole point of the thing is good heat treat and the lock. Otherwise, this thing is as bare bones and budgety looking as you can get. Or you get just your sort of titanium frame lock that is very minimal. It's doing a little bit more. And I gotta give it credit for that. Oh, and it's T8 and T6s. Don't love the T6s, but never do. Some weight reduction. It's light, super small, super compact. A reliable little pocket knife that is, if you're a big enough guy, you might even be able to get this in your fifth pocket, I'll be honest with you. But otherwise, it's probably just standard carry. And it works. I kind of am surprised they discontinued this model, honestly. I feel like they could have done... They did do an iterations on these things where they changed up some of the materials, or like a second run of them, or more than a second run. They produced them for a while, then did a different variants of them for a while. But they discontinued it. I don't know if it just wasn't selling, or maybe it had just been around long enough and they decided to move it out of their line. It's a good knife. At not a terrible price for what you're getting. So... It always hurts a little to see those goes, but go out of the production, but this one's fun, and I'm glad I have one of them, and I definitely carry it. There's a big old scratch right along there on the titanium. This is definitely the smallest knife, though, that I think I carry outside of the 2/5 pocket knives I have. I mean, because it's even smaller than the Reverie Elementum, which, well, it's not really smaller than the Reverie Elementum. You've got a very similar amount of cutting edge. The Elementum has just a little bit more blade. This is definitely good for people who have to be under 3 inches. You got a decent amount of handle, like a good amount of handle here, because it doesn't really come that close to the end. The backspacer makes room for a hidden lanyard post, so you got a decent amount of room there. And the fit and finish is good. It's not amazing. I can feel the inlays. Like, this inlay actually protrudes a little bit more than a lot of knives do. This one actually feels like it's standing up quite a bit taller. But, you know, that's kind of what you get in that medium tier range. You get good, not perfection. You rarely get perfection anywhere, so yeah. That's all for the summary of the Kansept Reverie. I blathered on a little bit too much. I had a few things that more than I wanted to say that I thought I was going to say, honestly. So, if you stuck around, I greatly appreciate it. Leave a like, subscription, and comment down below how I can improve. I definitely need to tighten up some of what I'm thinking. Sometimes, some days I sit down and my brain just goes bleh. It doesn't spit out what I need. But I'm working on it. I've been doing this for a few months now. Let's see, what is it, 4 or 5? Is it 5 months already? Maybe. But I'm still a small channel, so still figuring things out. And I greatly appreciate anybody stopping in to take a view or even say hi. That's all from me, though. See you the next one.